We just picked up this sweet camper van that we're going to be using for the next 3 weeks to drive all across New Zealand.
So we're here in Christchurch, and our plan is generally to drive all the way around the South Island up on the west coast, cross that ferry, and then make it up to the North Island until we reach Auckland. We're in this beautiful, to yet be named camper van. Sweet, sweet, sweet girl.
Yeah, we don't got a good name for her yet, but we're going to let her name herself. We've got our normal $100 per day budget for the both of us, so put $2,100 somewhere. And we're really excited to get started, but first, we got to pick up some supplies, and there's only really one right place that every good road trip in New Zealand should start.
Oh, she's bouncy.
Oh yeah, we're just settling into place.
After picking up some groceries from the almighty Pack and Save, and then grabbing supplies and a quick sausage sizzle from Bunnings, we opened up the Rankers app to pick our campsite for the night.
Oh, this one's powered. It's cool, it's on the water.
And then went off to see Christchurch. Before we could leave Christchurch, we just had to pick up a couple more key items for the trip. Time to get this road trip started. We headed to our campsite to figure out how this van works. Now, this isn't our first time living the van life dream, but that doesn't mean that we know what we're doing.
All right.
Okay, so this is our first moment in this van, actually, like in the back side of it. We've just been kind of like driving and collecting stuff. So we're going to give you a van tour. And by that I mean we're going to discover all of the things that are in this van because we don't know anything yet.
Let's get started.
Freshwater inlet, check. Power plug-in so that we can run bigger electronics and charge our laptops and run our heater, check. 12-volt battery power so that we can charge our phones when we're not at a fancy/expensive campsite with power, check. And it looks like we have a mostly complete kitchen.
Things are kind of cold in here.
A tiny stove thing, check. Pots and pans, check.
These things look like the kind that just like everything sticks to, you know what I'm talking about? Where like if you cook an egg on it, it just like becomes an egg. Oh, one of our glasses broke.
Shattered glass, check. Sink with a gray water tank, check.
How's it coming in there?
Come on in. Turns out under here is a ton of storage. Under there is where our porta potty lives.
Huh.
Hopefully we'll never have to use it, but it's there if we do.
Let's grab this.
It was super easy to change between table mode and bed mode. As you can see here, no struggle at all. Super duper easy.
We got a battery in here and we got an inverter, which means that it's automatically charging any time that we drive. Ta-da! Cheers
to another third time's a charm camper van journey.
Cheers to that. Cooking may now commence. So I just want to say explicitly, because it seemed like we were probably saying a lot of nice things about this camper van, we are not sponsored in any way on this video. Nobody gave us a camper van. We rented this camper van with our own money. We are not at all affiliated with, who is this? We're lit.
Then it was time to figure out how to cook our first meal.
I don't actually know how people do this and make fancy meals in their vans.
As predicted, everything is sticking immediately.
And after absolutely burning the bejesus out of everything, we settled in for our first delicious tiny home gourmet dinner. And now, the game plan.
One of us tomorrow will take the charge on planning the day using just this, and
I literally asked the person at the store, like, do you have a comically large map? And they definitely succeeded.
My favorite part about this map is that it's all in Te Reo Maori, or the traditional language of New Zealand.
How do we decide who's going to plan everything tomorrow? Rock, paper, scissors, the only way.
And then it was time to go to bed. We've got a big day tomorrow.
Good morning. Breakfast time. Breakfast time.
We're going to trade off full planning power each day, and today is Lisa's day.
So I spent all of last night going over this thing, and we're gonna head to some pretty beautiful lakes. And I have a surprise that I won't tell you about and end up at a very, very cool campground. We're gonna stop at a couple of op shops today, pick up 1, a new pan, and 2, a big, maybe 2 or 3 big blankets. I'm excited.
After making up our little home, we unplugged our power, filled the van up with water, and hit the road.
Minis was a pretty big win with this guy, which I'm very happy about. But at Selvo's, we got this pretty dusty, but basically new, which is awesome, walk and cover for a couple dollars. Then we also got the blanket there and a pillow. I think we're off to a good start.
Now, if you've ever heard anyone talk about New Zealand at all, undoubtedly the first words out of their mouth to describe it will be beautiful.
It's so incredibly beautiful. As much as I loved Christchurch and the city travel, gosh, getting out onto this countryside, seeing these incredible mountains, snow-capped mountains, it's making me really, really happy.
And it's easy to brush that aside. There's lots of beautiful places, right? That word does not do this place justice.
Just gotta show you what this view looks like. Not a shaky handheld camera in a car.
Hey!
How's it feel to be driving?
It's weird on the left side of the road, but so far okay. Sassy's treating us well. I don't know if that's her name, but Sassy Molassie. Molassie Sass. Oh, there she is. Oh man. That was incredible. It's a perfect day too.
We quick stopped for some groceries, but ended up getting way more than we bargained for.
The greatest peanut butter, probably on planet Earth.
What is this? This right here was the moment when we finally felt like our trip had started. This is what we came here for, this feeling right here. Okay, maybe not that feeling of like my butt getting dragged through rocks at 100 miles an hour, but this feeling.
I never smiled and laughed so hard in the last couple months than this. That was fun. Thanks, New Zealand.
After that, it was time to confront our biggest nemesis of this trip.
$114, $70 for that little fill up. And we were only at a quarter of a tank left. Yeah, I think we're over $100 for today.
Nothing like some beautiful scenery to help ease the pain. Right around the corner in Lake Pukaki, we found this tiny shop that sold fresh salmon with a view.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is hot smoked Aoraki salmon. I think it's just locally raised fish, maybe straight from this lake. And they gave us 2 pairs of chopsticks. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's tasty. You didn't want any, right?
Time to go to the campsite?
Yep.
I don't even know what to say about that place. That was delicious salmon, that view. This is only our second day here, and all of this stuff we've already seen. If every day is even half as pretty as this will be the best trip we've ever been on. Whoa, look at that!
Is that the salmon hatchery?
I don't know, maybe.
So we're about 20 minutes away from our campsite, and we're definitely noticing all the camper vans, all the RVs, all the cars are just driving the opposite way.
They're all leaving.
I hope this isn't a terrible decision.
I think the weather said it's going to be slightly above freezing. So.
But the further we get into this drive, like the more incredible it looks, and I'm so excited, but I'm also a little bit terrified because you can see this like cloud covering all of Aoraki.
Brisk, baby. High chance of snow. Okay, maybe.
Thank God we got this blanket.
This campsite is super sweet. We're gonna throw on about every single item of clothing that we own, and then we're gonna go on this quick 1 hour return hike, I think up to Kia Point.
This campsite is special for a lot of reasons, but biggest among those is how close and, if you're lucky, how clearly you can see the tallest mountain in New Zealand.
See how clear that is. And that cleared up too. Never got to see it before. That's so cool.
We started walking back to the campsite, but Aoraki had one more surprise for us.
It was just calved up there. Sounds like thunder.
It's crazy because I heard it from the other side.
Yeah, it might have been.
We have a little bit of light, so we're gonna make dinner outside, even though we could use the shelter. But why would you when you've got that incredible view?
Ooh, that smells good.
After dinner and some light planning, it was time for bed. So now's probably a good time to tell you that we're here in September, the shoulder season of spring.
It's snowing.
We definitely were not prepared enough for the cold. It got down to below freezing here. We were just shivering all night. Coming during this time of year does also have its advantages, we would find out, as incredible campsites like this one and so many others had plenty of availability.
So right now we're in Mount Cook National Park, and if the weather clears up and it stops snow raining, which is what it's doing right now, and maybe we don't have 60-mile-an-hour gusts of wind, we're gonna go and do the Hooker Valley Lake Track, which is right over there, an absolutely beautiful hike, and eat some PB&J sandwiches for breakfast right next to a little glacier lake. Wow, is it windy. Either way, we're gonna keep driving, and we're gonna make our way to Lake Wanaka today, and then we're gonna finish the night with some fancy pasta and some red wine in our van. That's the game plan. But first, some coffee and tea.
I'll take the flatbread. I will sacrifice.
The weather in New Zealand is notoriously unpredictable, and this was our first real taste of that.
Oh my gosh. I think we're gonna give the hike a try. I don't know, there are other people. Let's go.
It's only considerable avalanche risk today. Not so bad.
Wow. Oh, it's closed. No.
I guess that makes sense with how windy it is.
Oh.
Look at this view though. Like, this ain't bad.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I think this is as far as we can go.
As soon as we started to drive away from the campsite, the weather turned from this to this and this and then this. Hold on, we have to stop for a second.
We just drove just like 10-15 minutes and it's as clear as day out here. The water's so blue. The mountains are incredible. So pretty.
With Mount Cook in our rearview mirror, we made our way past Lake Pukaki, down into the valleys, with a quick stop off at the Clay Cliffs.
Whoa.
Wow. This whole area, I guess, used to be a lake, and this was all covered by water. And these cliffs, all made out of clay. Incredibly, incredibly beautiful.
So we got back on the road and kept driving until it was time for our very first New Zealand fish and chips. This 4.5 pound, yes, we did weigh it, bundle of joy was only $7 US and contained the actual best chips/fries that we had in our entire trip.
Ooh, got some nice looking fish there. I'm most impressed with though. With chips.
These chips are really good.
I would say current winner for New Zealand's best chips. We're only 3 days in.
Well, it's the only one you've had.
And we'll keep you updated throughout the video.
Lunch finished, we made our way to Wanaka.
Okay,
What did we
all
get?
set. Site 224. I think this will be the most expensive campsite we stay at for this entire trip.
Oh.
But it was 50 NZD for tonight. So like 30 US, I think.
For power?
Yeah, for a powered site. This view
Wow.
is pretty good.
So we checked into the campsite, got all fancied up, and hit the town.
No, it's just a tree, but it's the Wanaka tree. And the first time I ever heard about New Zealand was that tree. I saw a picture on Instagram, hashtag that Wanaka tree. And I just assumed, like a lot of other places, I would never be able to come. I would never be able to see it. And even though it does draw a lot of crowds, it means that it's special. It's sunset, it's a little bit chilly. So we're gonna go find a place to get some drinks and some food and hunker down.
Unfortunately, after looking around town, there was just no way that we could afford to have dinner and drinks out and stay under $100 per day.
Okay, so I think we walked to every single bar here in Wanaka, and I think the reality of the situation is we kind of have to pick and choose, right? Like, we stayed at a nicer campsite. Obviously, gas is more expensive than we thought, and we are trying to stick to this $100 per day budget that we're on.
So we did the sensible thing and found some groceries and half-off beers, and then went back to make dinner with the other campers. That turned out to be exactly our crowd anyway.
To be honest, this hostel-style kitchen that we got in there, it's much more our scene anyway. Well, I did promise you a fancy Italian meal.
You did.
What do you think?
You delivered. This is my favorite kind of fancy meal. Not fancy and homemade.
I ain't got nothing for you.
We woke up, ate breakfast, it was Lisa's turn to plan, and we took a glorious hot shower. Everything was going great.
What is this?
Are those bras?
I don't
Is that just
understand.
like 1,000 bras? New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation.
Oh, cool.
You get some change out of the thing?
Yeah.
This was the first time our van really showed her personality.
And this is as much as she's given.
Woo!
Sounds like the car is about to blow up. Can we make it? Is this the top?
After we made it up and down that mountain, it was time for, you guessed it, gas and groceries.
Oh, wow.
Lisa wanted us to head to Queenstown, the adventure capital of New Zealand, to see if we could score some cheap tickets to go and see Milford Sound. The thing that's probably your desktop background, the place of dreams, that image that brings most people to New Zealand in the first place. The stakes were high and our money was tight, so we had to find some way to do it. We got into the hip and beautiful Queenstown, we walked around for a while, and then visited all the various tour booking agencies around town to try to find a good deal on a Milford Sound cruise. After running the numbers, $100 per day just wasn't enough to do anything besides just drive and sleep. Was what we were trying to do even possible? There was only one way in Queenstown to find a solution to this problem. We needed a Ferg burger. This burger is a thing of legend. It's a mythical creature like a unicorn, the Loch Ness Monster, or good affordable healthcare for Americans. It's just too good to be real. So we sat down in this unspeakably beautiful place, and after one bite into the glory that is the Ferg burger, this happened.
We have to go. We gotta do it, right? We have to.
We stopped for a second and realized we were halfway across the world on the road trip of a lifetime. I mean, there's just no way that we could miss out on Milford Sound. So we moved up our budget an additional $20 per day. We can always eat more PB&J sandwiches at home to make up for the extra money. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Okay, let's go.
With our newly expanded budget, we started making some pretty big moves. We found Milford Sound cruise tickets and figured out how to save money on campsites.
And I was just looking through their system, and there's like a campsite pass for $95 per person. For 30 days, you can just stay in as many DOC sites as you want. They seem pretty great.
He agrees.
The sheep? Let's ask the sheep. Could you ask the sheep? Hey, should we stay at the DOC site or no? He didn't even let us finish yet. He's in.
I don't know. How do you know that was a yes?
That seemed like a yes. It felt like a yes. All right, we're doing it.
Expensive day, but Milford Sound, here we come.
Everything I feel like just got a little bit more intense in the last half an hour.
It's been an emotional and extremely expensive day.
And,
But also really uplifting, I think, in a lot of ways. You know, like we made big decisions, a lot of them that I think we knew we needed to make.
yeah, we were just going with it, you know?
Yeah.
Letting New Zealand guide us, letting New Zealand take us, and, you know, we're going with it.
Everything was looking up. We'd even decided on a name for our van.
For sure, we've decided on a name also with the other decisions today. Her name's Sassy, and that's definitely because of the sound she makes every time we try to make her go up a hill.
She's a sweet girl.
Yeah.
She's just a little sassy.
Got a lot of opinions about being driven up a hill, though, that's for sure.
I don't blame her.
Okay, it's just right there. He's busy. Okay, we're set for tonight. There's literally nobody else here in this entire campground, which is either the most awesome thing to ever happen, or means we're making a gigantic mistake. We're gonna find out soon either way. I think we're gonna have gnocchi for tonight.
Gnocchi.
Yeah.
Gnocchi.
That's what I said.
So we ended up just last minute deciding, you know what, let's book this. Let's go with it. Let's let New Zealand surprise us. We're gonna book the cruise. You know, it was expensive, more expensive than we were hoping. We did find a really good deal from book.me.New Zealand. 89 New Zealand dollars, which was $30 less than what we were seeing in all of the company's stores. So we decided just take that as a sign and let's book it. We'll figure it out. We're only here once. And we made our way here.
Sorry for all the noise. Oh yeah, we're ready now. Hell yeah.
As we started making our dinner in the dark, something truly magical happened.
that a kiwi? I've always wanted to see a real kiwi. This is crazy. Hey, buddy. No way. Come here 10 times and I've never seen a kiwi. And here one is just waltzing up to our campsite. No way. This is the best day ever. I'm honestly still in disbelief that maybe we just saw a kiwi in the wild. I've never even seen one in a zoo here. Like, you know, you always go to the exhibits and you hope to see them, but they're always like hiding away in some brush or whatever. That might be the most unlikely thing that's ever happened to me, is to see a kiwi in the wild.
Yes, indeed. Something so unlikely that it didn't actually happen.
What a country.
Okay, after extensive research, mostly Googling, and comparing photos to the footage, we did not see a kiwi. Turns out what we most likely saw was a weka, which is also endemic to New Zealand and also known as the Maori hen or wood hen.
Don't ruin this for us, internet.
Yes.
I saw a kiwi in the wild, okay? And near Milford Sound, I did. Don't ruin this for me.
No one tell Josh. He was really excited.
God, I'm an idiot.
Maybe it'll still happen.
Off to bed. Milford Sound tomorrow.
Dun, 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 dun. Milford Sound.
So this is actually what happened that day. It was so windy and rained so hard that they closed the road to Milford Sound. We spent all day in Te Anau doing some op shopping, sitting in our van in the rain and talking back and forth with the tour company, just trying to figure out if it would be even possible for us to go.
Okay, so we're still in Te Anau. I kept hoping that by sometime this afternoon we would get good news and the roads were going to reopen and we were going to be able to make it to Milford Sound. But I just got an email. We've been advised that the Milford Road will not be open.
Avalanche risk, roads closed for the foreseeable future. What can you do?
It's super unfortunate. I mean, this is for sure one of the things that was on our like must-do list when it comes to New Zealand. It's just, it sucks, but there's nothing we can do. The road's closed. Road's closed. But there's so much cool stuff that we still have yet to see. And now we've got like 16 days to see it and a little bit extra budget back because they gave us a refund. So I think it'll be great. I think it'll be great. All right, moving on. We're going to drive all the way back to Queenstown and then it's my day to plan. Mm-hmm. It's my day to plan.
And plus, I got this sweet $3 water bottle. There's nothing like a beautiful campsite to lift your spirits.
Nice find.
I think this might be our best campsite yet. Tied with the glacier, for sure. I mean, come on, looks like we're in Milford Sound.
The next morning we realized that we were so busy emotionally and financially melting down last time we were in Queenstown, we thought it'd probably be best to spend a bit more time there.
Okay, so now we're back in Queenstown, and since we didn't get to spend a lot of time here that wasn't having an existential / monetary breakdown, we're gonna take the Tiki Trail all the way up to the top, see Bob's Peak. Yeah, I think that's the game plan for today.
We're going up there. Somehow.
The Tiki Trail is one of the most convenient and beautiful hikes that you can do here. I mean, it leads right up the side of this mountain. You can also get there with a 10-minute long, super cool gondola, but that's pricey, so you know by now what we're gonna do.
Doing this walking shot in front of the sign, so it looks like we're passing time, you know, but really we're just walking up a big hill. Wow.
So wild because yesterday was pouring, downpouring, and now it's like clear-ish, and it's incredibly beautiful. Queenstown, I'm so glad we came back to Queenstown.
So now we're off to Wanaka to get some lunch, and we probably got to fill up and spend some more money on gas. Come on, Sass. Come on, Sassy. Oh my God. She is upset today.
Let's go, Sassy Lassie.
Okay, I think we're on the way back down. Good old Sass. Reliable as heck, making it up that kind of crazy pass. That's a good lunch spot. That'll do. That'll do.
After a very relaxing lunch in Wanaka, we set our sights on the glacier towns of Franz Josef and Fox.
You a little too short for the van?
Just one quick thing to do before we go.
You know, just camping stuff.
The West Coast is classic road trip. You hop in the car, drive for 2 hours, hop out, walk 5 minutes to a spectacular waterfall, and then back in the car for another 2 hours.
Okay, on to the next.
Hop back out and see another waterfall. And rinse and repeat for days on end.
Next one.
We were falling in love with this part of the drive. We ended the day, of course, with a beautiful West Coast sunset.
We're still driving. We passed Haast, and wow, we are like in the beachy West Coast now. It is incredibly beautiful. The sun is setting, and we're seeing some really incredible views of the ocean and some cliffs along the water.
But we even managed to catch a glimpse of the glaciers before the sun fully went down. After a full day of driving, we scored this cool and very dark campsite for $17. Had a quick dinner and called it a night.
Okay, so we drove all the way up to where we are right now, which is in the Franz Josef Glacier, Fox Glacier area. Fox Glacier is Te Moeka o Tuave. So our campsite is right smack in the middle between two awesome glaciers. So that's obviously what we got to go and try and see. Lonely Planet has managed my expectation a little bit. It says the weather is notoriously fickle and wet on the West Coast. But that being said, I'm just excited to be in the area. I'm excited that we even get to like see these glaciers or get a chance to see the glaciers. Let's go. I gotta say, no matter the weather that you get, I mean, it is cloudy, misty, a little bit rainy, but it is incredibly beautiful. Like, the clouds are just covering the mountains. It's like mystical feeling. It's super green, and it's a little bit drizzly, but wow.
That was awesome. The clouds parted for just like 10 seconds there, and then you could see the glacier really well, and then it just right back up. Yeah, it looks like that's gonna be the story of today. Let's try Franz Josef.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like seeing an endangered species in the wild, looking at a glacier like that. You know it's on its way out, but man, is it awesome to look at. I mean, just like at Fox Glacier, as soon as we got there, the clouds parted and we could see the glacier for just like a couple seconds. It's just magical.
As we continued up the west coast, it felt like we were actually getting kinda good at this van life thing again. It was all coming back to us. We were spending very little money, buying only the essentials.
Did you know they had steaks for $3? $3!
Let's see, what did you get?
Steak! And
Oh, that's cute.
thought our camper van could use some livening up.
We named him Sunny. Sleeping at great free campsites, waking up at 6 a.m. to see New Zealand crush it in the World Cup, while waiting for our laundry to finish, seeing some absolutely unforgettable sights like Hokitika Gorge, picking up delicious craft beer from Monteith's, getting fish and chips and more fish and chips,
Don't eat all the chips.
getting kinda used to all the petrol fill-ups.
Time to fill up with gas and spend a bunch of money. Here we go.
Making our way up to these cool and kind of bizarre pancake rocks.
I think this is my most favorite part of the entire West Coast. It's so beautiful, dramatic. I was reading on the sign back there that this place, Punakaiki, was an important and sacred resting place for the Maori people, and I can see why.
We pulled up into this great free campsite right next to a river and those pancake rocks for the night.
So this is one of New Zealand's many free campsites. It's not the DOC one like we bought the pass for. This is just a free period campsite. It's kind of just like a big chunk of gravel with some bathrooms on the other side right next to a river. It's actually really nice. It'll definitely do for tonight. Oh no, Sunny. Sunny will perk right up tomorrow.
Hopefully.
Time for bed. The West Coast road trip was done. What's next?
Good morning. That's about enough cold, rainy weather for this trip.
After some bacon and a quick planning session, we made the decision of where to head to next.
Good morning from the side of the road, somewhere near Punakaiki. There's one road that leads from where we are just before Westport all the way up to Nelson on the east coast, and I'm thinking if the weather continues on this blue sky path, maybe we should take advantage of the sunshine in Abel Tasman.
Abel Tasman is a national park on the north tip of the South Island, and it's a special place to us for a lot of reasons. The biggest of which is that it's where this wonderful woman was foolish enough to say yes to a life together with me.
Sandflies on the west coast. Bring some insect repellent. They survive the cold winters apparently. What?
I'm so lucky. On the way, we stopped at Lake Rotoiti for some lunch.
This will do. Duck's coming, he's hungry.
And enjoyed the view before hopping back in the car.
Filling up with water again and emptying out our gray tank. Very exciting stuff.
After some necessary sassy maintenance, we kept driving towards Abel Tasman. Even our 7th gas fill-up couldn't get us down.
So I don't want to call this prematurely, but I think that that's our last gas fill-up for the entirety of the South Island.
There are a lot of different ways to experience Abel Tasman, which we would decide later. But first we had to position ourselves closer, so we made our way to Motueka.
Okay, so this is our free campsite for tonight. We are in Motueka, which is just like 30 minutes south of Marahau, which is where most people will start their Abel Tasman trip, and we most likely will too once we figure out exactly how we're doing that. Just like a big parking lot with a bunch of camper vans in it, but I think it's pretty nice, and there's a beach right there. Apparently it's got some saltwater bass, if we're feeling up to trying being that cold. See that crazy shipwreck out there? I was just reading about this Janie Seddon shipwreck that's right here. And apparently this thing served in both World Wars and is rumored to have shot the first shot of World War II. Okay, it's almost dinner time, but we gotta try those public saltwater baths.
It's gonna be cold.
They seem cold as heck, but
we're only here once.
Yep.
We're just gonna. I can't feel anything. Okay. Oh my god. I feel like my bones are like rocked to the core.
Oh, that was awesome. Okay, we are packing up for our Abel Tasman adventure tomorrow. You don't really need a lot. A swimsuit, probably some shoes. You don't necessarily even need shoes. I mean, yeah, whatever suits you, and you know, a towel.
Maybe some sunscreen.
Some sunscreen. Behold, my leaning tower of peanut butter and jelly.
After having a taco-ish dinner,
Let's go.
we watched a rugby game and headed off to bed.
We're going to Abel Tasman today. Yay!
Joe, we could get a 50 horsepower tractor for $10,500 here. Look at all the stuff we could plant with that.
We decided that the best way to see Abel Tasman with the time that we had and the budget we had was to take the water taxi to about a third of the way up the park, to Anchorage, and then just walk the 10 plus miles from there back to our van. So we drove the little bit to the water taxi company, parked Sassy for the day, and off we went.
Apparently to get this job you have to be both a tractor operator and boat driver.
After being dropped off in the water by a farming tractor, we got the full guided tour from our captain. On the way we saw Split Apple Rock that looks nothing like an apple, sea lions, and a seaside view of Abel Tasman Park. Once we reached the sandy shores of Anchorage, the boat dropped all of us off, and we all became suddenly aware that we had a very long walk ahead of us.
This is exactly what I remember about Abel Tasman right here. It's just, we just walked 15 minutes off of the busiest campsite, which was Anchorage. And then you have this entire beach.
We could have easily just spent all day here and it wouldn't have felt wasted at all. But we had miles to walk and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to eat.
Smushed just to your liking.
This park is just spectacular and truly one of the greatest multi-night backpacking and camping locations I've experienced anywhere. It's so perfectly laid out, so accessible, so well maintained, and the walking is just challenging enough to be interesting, but not so hard that you feel like you have to over-prepare.
Dear future Lisa, here's a bet that you're not going to use that shot in the video at all.
Now I will.
Now, if you do want to camp at one of these sites overnight, know that this is one of New Zealand's legendary Great Walks, which always book up well in advance. Make sure you reserve your campsite at least a month before you get here, especially during high season. There's also huts you can stay in if you don't feel like schlepping a tent all the way up here. There's so many ways to do Abel Tasman, all of them right, none of them wrong. Last time we spent 4 nights here walking from campsite to campsite, just having the best time.
This time, though, if we wanted to make it all the way to Auckland, we wouldn't have time for that. This is, I think, the best way to see Abel Tasman if you've only got one day.
Okay, would you like a smushed peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a smushed peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
The second one.
We revisited the place where I dropped down on one knee and she said yes, and got real teary-eyed about it, and then just enjoyed the rest of the 10 miles of unspoiled, natural, magical New Zealand beauty. We even had another rare bird sighting. Oh yeah, you know it. It's montage time. Those last few miles just flew right by. We weren't ready for this to be over.
We're exiting the park now, and I'm pretty sad to be leaving, but I think we had a pretty great long day here in Abel Tasman. About 15 minutes to where our van is, and then off to find a free campsite. we were craving pies on the walk home, and we saw frozen ones in the store, and we're like, no, we have no way to cook them. And then these 2 last ones were in the warmer, and she said, you guys can have them, just take them. New Zealand, you have my heart, and I love your pies.
What a magical thing to have happen. We stopped off for some quick produce at one of these numerous roadside stands and made our way to the campsite for the night.
What'd you get us?
Kiwi fruit, which I think is just kiwi. Yeah. We were just talking about kiwi. Kiwis are great fruits and great people. Oh no, what? No.
Or maybe not.
Okay, so that campground was unfortunately closed. The website for it said it was open. It was not. So we are heading back to the same campground that we stayed at last night.
This is one of the risks of freedom camping. These sites can close anytime without notice or be jam-packed, and your only option is to just keep driving to the next one. So that's exactly what we did.
We're trying to find another spot now.
Many hours later, we rolled up to this freedom camping site in this weird parking lot on the outskirts of Nelson.
This place is such a blessing, honestly. It's kind of like, you know, not much to look at here, but it is a free campsite for us. It's got free drinkable water just right over there. There's a dump station right over there. It's got bathrooms. And the view's actually pretty good. I feel like we're starting to like really adapt to this camper van life, in that we're like comfortable walking, say, 10 miles like we did today, and then just coming here and passing out at night without taking a shower is something that we would normally not do, and honestly not something to be proud of, but it's just kind of the reality. And it's starting to kind of feel like home. A little sassy.
Okay, keep your ear pods in, okay?
What?
That's right. Okay.
Huh? What did you say?
Good morning from a car park.
I'm gonna go eat my breakfast over on this thing. See you later.
Bye. Good morning from a car park in, where are we? Past Motueka, just south of Nelson. Is that right? Nelson's kind of north. Yeah. Okay. Today is a little bit of a secretive day because I saw, not too far north from us, Pick's Peanut Butter World. I don't remember what day this was, but you might remember this reaction from Josh when he saw Pick's.
The greatest peanut butter probably on planet Earth.
Pick's Peanut Butter World does tours. It's completely free, and apparently these tours are awesome.
Okay, so where are we off to?
Let me put in directions.
Directions. Are we going to Bunnings or a sausage sizzle today?
No.
I see garden and landscape. I see a veterinary office. Is this Pick's Peanut Butter? They have a whole peanut butter world? Whoa! The happiest place on earth, it says. And a giant peanut butter jar.
14 and a half.
14 and a half jars of peanut butter tall.
The tour was amazing. I got to see how all this cool tech is used to make my favorite peanut butter. I even got to make some of my own using a bike.
Oh, it's going. Delicious.
And I won something.
A jar of Figment.
Yeah.
I never win anything. It was a pretty big deal for me.
Wow.
After that, we headed off to Nelson to see the sights of the last big city on the South Island. We did a little shopping and headed off to enjoy lunch at the beach.
Just gotta get some bread for that. All that peanut butter we got today. Heck yeah.
We're at Tahuna Nui Beach, having ramen from the Asian grocery store.
That was great. What are we doing now?
Going to a campsite.
Oh yeah?
It's an hour away, but I think it might be the best campsite we've stayed at.
Not only had Lisa found the incredible peanut butter factory tour, but she had found a truly miraculous thing. A DOC campsite that we could not only use our unlimited pass for, but one that had power.
What do you think?
This is awesome. Electricity for like the first time in a week?
And hot showers.
All these things we used to take for granted, all of a sudden, biggest luxury in the world. Ooh, time to go take a shower. Genuinely feel like a brand new person.
Let's get you some sun, bud.
This might seem boring, but this was one of our favorite days. I know this campsite doesn't have the most beautiful view in the world, or the least amount of bugs, or the most views of a giant glacier, but up to this point, we've spent this entire trip constantly going from place to place as fast as we possibly could.
Brand spanking new.
So instead of that, we just set up camp here with our tiny little table next to our tiny little camper van and enjoyed what we had right in front of us. We grabbed the last of our Montes beer stash and headed down to the river to take it all in.
Good morning. Breakfast sandwiches for the win. Bacon and eggs.
Okay, let's get planning for today.
Okay, Lisa set the bar pretty dang high yesterday, and I had to come up with something special.
That was supposed to go a lot better. So after reading through this book, I realized that we are about 30 minutes away from one of the best wine regions in the world, the Marlborough wine region, and it's kind of like headquartered, at least most of them are right in Blenheim, that place on the map, and that's super close to us. It's a bit of an overcast day. Looks like it might rain, so wine tasting?
Breakfast is ready.
Ooh! Oh, wow. Yes!
Oh, that's good. Sweet, tart, not too mushy.
Now, New Zealand is famous for a lot of things. Breathtaking scenery, the Lord of the Rings, Milford Sound, hiking, adventure sports, the list goes on and on. High atop that list, though, is wine. So I thought today would be the perfect day to be the designated driver for Lisa and give her a personally handcrafted wine tour put together by yours truly.
Okay, so I'm realizing now after wearing this that I think I look a lot more like a guy who's about to give you an oil change than a fancy wine taster, but this is the best I got. It'll have to do.
I checked out all the wineries in the area and picked 3 that would have budget-friendly tastings and didn't seem to have all that unnecessary pomp and circumstance that comes with wine tasting.
This is like a all automated self-serve wine tasting. You pay by this card and you just pick your size and it just adds up the balance. Ooh, that's nice. It's got an elegant, delicate, fragrant flavor with classic rose petal. I actually really like the self-serve option of it. I mean, I appreciate what people do when you go to wineries and the learning that you get, but there's something nice about being able to do it on your own pace and not being handheld through the process.
After that little tasting, we went to No. 1 Champagne. This was an incredible experience and we learned so much.
As much as I loved the self-serve at the first place, this was like the experience that I didn't know that I wanted, but I actually really am glad that we got.
After the champagne, Lisa was getting a bit, shall we say, wobbly.
I think we should probably go get some food for Lisa.
Hey,
That was a lot of wine that she's just had.
I'm cleaning up in here. Ow.
I've seen this country fried chicken like everywhere here at all the dairies, which are kind of like convenience stores, but they also sell really good fast food. Correctly chicken salted. Still has not supplanted the first chips we had, the first French fries we had.
No. Yeah, these are a little soggy.
Yeah.
I don't mind it though.
Ready for Forest Wines?
Our last stop was the best, by far.
Starting with that number
1 through 7.
Wine number 2. Tell me what you taste in there. Tell me
It
what you
almost smells
taste.
like passion fruit.
Ooh.
It smells like, is that?
Keep going.
It smells like Lilikoi.
It is actually guava.
Oh.
For some reason, totally unrelated to the wine tasting, Lisa was in a very happy mood.
How you feeling?
Honey.
What?
Great.
Ready to go?
And off we went to see the boat that tomorrow would shuttle us from the South Island all the way to the island in the north.
I think that's the one that we're taking tomorrow. Obviously ours is super early in the morning, so we're probably taking that same one, but out. Because I think this is the last one coming in for the day.
This is unfortunately the last night that we have here on our South Island adventure, and seeing that boat that would take us away from it all honestly made us feel a bit sad.
What a beautiful town. All right, now we're off to the campsite, which is 25 minutes of just windy roads, as windy as it gets, I think, is what this is going to be. Should be a very pretty drive.
As I drove into our campsite on our last night here, it felt like this island was really giving us a proper farewell.
Is this our campsite? Oh, that is awesome.
These campgrounds just keep getting better and better and better. So we set up our little table and just sat there, thinking back on all the incredible stuff we did and saw over the past 12 days. So we made up our bed, closed up our van for the night, and said goodnight to the South Island one last time. Don't fret. From what I've read, the best is still yet to come.
Okay, be right back. Hot, fresh pies.
Yes.
For breakfast.
We enjoyed the best pies we would have on this entire trip and waited in line to board.
Well, this thing's hefty. Oh yeah, that's good.
Steak covered gravy in this. It's so good. It's like a warm hug in the morning.
We had booked our ferry a few days ago on their website, and man, it was expensive. Over $200 US to bring us, Sassy, and everything we own from the South Island to the north. A big cost, but a good deal. An hour later, we drove onto the largest ferry we've ever been on and watched the sun come up as we slowly floated towards the island in the north. Four hours later, we made it to Wellington.
Hello, North Island. Sure is nice to see you.
Big city, traffic, colors, hipness. Is that a word?
Our first adventure in Wellington is, of course, trying to find parking.
We walked around Wellington for a bit and then headed to New Zealand's National Museum.
We're not usually museum people, at all. But here in Wellington is my favorite museum in the world. It's not an endless maze of stuffy rooms filled with old paintings and grumpy attendants. It's got character and flair.
Cute.
Remember when we saw one of those?
Things to interact with, not just passively look at.
Then there's the natural history part, a whole floor that focuses just on Maori culture and history that was incredibly eye-opening. Lessons in how to navigate using only the stars and even the only colossal squid in the world. Oh, and of course, because it's New Zealand, it's totally free.
I'm not normally like a museum person, but this place is not just like a museum. I don't know, I've never felt that way about a museum before, but there's something about this museum that makes me just feel like I understand and I want to learn so much more about this country.
We spent at least 4 hours here and honestly could have spent days here and been very happy. But alas, we must continue north.
Hi, Sass.
We made our way back to Sassy and stopped for our first gas and grocery pickup of the North Island.
Just the essentials.
We found a great campsite halfway between Wellington and Taupo and set up camp for the night.
You know, I gotta say there are a lot of reasons to love New Zealand. Tons of them. Incredible nature, really nice people, delicious food, fish and chip shops. But out of all of those reasons, I think my most favorite is the fact that steak is somehow the cheapest meat that you can buy here. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
You ever feel like we've overstayed our welcome?
A little bit. I'm still in my PJs and people are out here practicing.
Ooh.
New island, new game plan.
New map, who dis?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now that we have moved over to the North Island, we are now on the North Island map. So let me get you up to speed here. So we took the ferry across from Picton all the way up to Wellington, drove from Te Papa all the way up to this town that I definitely remember its name.
Timonga?
Timona.
The plan for today is to hike Te Mata Peak and then off to do some wine tasting.
So yeah, we're heading east, but I did just see a really cool thing on this map, which is this hilariously long name mountain.
Wow. Te Tauma Tava Kata Katangi Hanga Koao Tamatea Turi Venau Kitana Tahu. Wow.
It took 30 seconds to say that.
Okay, so this town name translates into English as the place where Tamatea, the man with the big knees, who slid, climbed, and swallowed mountains, known as Land Eater, played his flute to his loved one.
Wow.
What an awesome name. What an awesome name.
Let's try this again.
Wait, what?
One
No.
important
What?
thing to have in mind that most people get wrong is that WH in Maori sounds like F, the sound of the letter F, and most people get this wrong. It's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
That's amazing.
It's just,
I didn't know
it's
about
pretty
that.
straightforward. Here we go again. Okay, not so bad. I think that should be like, maybe we got 1 or 2 more fill-ups for the end of this trip. That's pretty cool. Okay, we just made it to Te Mata Park. We're gonna get a nice little overlook of all of this beautiful wine country. There's supposedly a beautiful little hike just going up the side of this. And then I think after that we're gonna go do a little wine tasting. Whoever is selling cones around here must be the richest person in New Zealand. It's the only logical explanation. Look at this! He's putting down more! Oh, man. Okay, so Esther, not only like the best winery I've been to in New Zealand, but just the best winery I've been to. Not a brand deal. I mean, they're obviously not sponsoring us. We just bought their wine. But most of the time when you go in for a wine tasting, it's just awkward. You like, especially if you're people like us who we don't necessarily know all that much about wine, honestly. But they just like welcomed us in immediately. Everything was so good. I don't know what else to say. That was an awesome experience. Since it is still my day to plan the rest of today, I am deciding that we are getting fish and chips takeaway. Oh, yes.
So good. Also, I love that That restaurant had sweet and sour chicken and nasi goreng. What an eclectic menu, and it smells so good. Why are you cones?
I see you, orange
my
cone.
gosh.
I see you. This campsite's awesome. We're like literally right on the beach. I mean, like right on the beach.
Yeah.
Like, right on the beach. There you go, cups for the wine.
Thank you.
I kind of feel like we're living the New Zealand dream right now. Fish and chips, local wine, this.
Good morning.
Okay, team. It's my turn to plan today, and
Lisa decided the most obvious place to head next was Taupo, the small and beautiful city right on the aptly named Lake Taupo. Home of the legendary Huka Falls, Aratisha Rapids, countless hot springs, and access point to Tongariro National Park. But none of these things are why I actually wanted to go to Taupo.
You know the drill by now. Every day, gotta do it.
By this point in the movie, you've probably noticed my slight obsession with the orange cones here in New Zealand, so I figure now's the right time to talk about the very special experience of driving here. Everyone always says that New Zealand roads are different, but no one ever explained to me why that is. First of all, and most importantly, you drive on the left.
Left side of the road.
stay left.
Just gotta drive on the left. That's the only thing I do right.
Secondly, it can feel like drive times are as unpredictable as the weather. And every single road, and I do mean every single road, is a tiny, windy, 2-lane road. It's super fun, but man is it exhausting. Not only that, but it felt like 50% of New Zealand was under construction. I mean, whoever owns the company that sells orange traffic cones must be the richest person in New Zealand. There's just no way it's anyone else. Driving here can feel physically and mentally exhausting even in this tiny camper van. I can't imagine how it would feel in one of those big RVs. We learned pretty quickly to take it slow and take a lot of breaks. New Zealand is one of the most beautiful places you'll ever get to drive in, so don't rush it. And I mean, you couldn't even if you tried.
Look at how far they go.
3 hours and a driving monologue later, we had made it to Huka Falls.
Okay, we are at the single most visited natural feature, I guess, in New Zealand. I don't know, I'll just let it speak for itself. Check it out.
Next, we were off to Aratisha Rapids to catch the show.
140.
20 more minutes?
20 more minutes. Right now, nothing's happening, but it seems like very soon, lots of stuff is going to be happening. People are starting to gather up there, down there.
Oh, here it goes, I think. I see water.
It's crazy, just like 2 minutes ago, all you could see was those rocks, and it was like, huh, I wonder if anything's gonna happen. And now just the entire thing is just one massive river. Okay, so you know in The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, where they like have that barrel scene where it's like the hobbits and the dwarves and they're like going down the river super fast in those little barrels, right? So that was filmed actually right there. And the way that they filmed it was every day, like when they'd open that thing up and allow the dam to empty, 20 to 25 barrels, empty ones, would just like shoot down the river, and they'd get it from different angles, and then they CGI'd the characters into it. I just think that's so cool. I mean, you didn't think we'd come all this way, right, and like not talk about Lord of the Rings stuff, right? I want you to know I have been bursting this entire time with so many fun Lord of the Rings facts about this place, but I've been keeping them in because I know not everybody's into that. No longer.
Yeah, that's definitely why I brought us here.
Yes. In the jar with you.
Okay, so even though today is my day of planning, Josh requested a stop at probably the most famous McDonald's here.
The coolest McDonald's on planet Earth.
No delivery on the plane.
This is the true reason that I wanted to come to Topa.
That was awesome. You know, it's been quite a while since we've had a good steak. That's okay.
It was time to make our way to one of the wildest parts of New Zealand, the unparalleled Tongariro National Park. So we drove and drove, trying to make it to our campsite before sunset. And right as the sun was setting and things were just starting to get dark, we saw it.
What? You can see the top? Oh my, I've never seen this thing in person. That is a Mount Doom if I've ever seen one. Holy cow.
Whoa, where are we?
We parked up in the closest campsite to the main departure point of the Tongariro crossing, a site called Mangahuia, using our DOC campsite pass.
Yay!
Good to go. This looks great.
Cool.
And another win for the DOC pass.
It's a very wild feeling campground, but it's very nice and very private, even though you can fit a lot of vans, but it's just us and one other van here so far. Good night.
Good morning. Come on inside, the weather's terrible out here. Okay, so just to catch you up from yesterday, we drove all the way down here to just on the west side of Tongariro National Park at Mangahuia campsite. So the plan for today is to do kind of whatever hike is possible. We're gonna go and talk to the information center down at Wakapapa Village, see if anything is possible, and then I guess make a decision on what we're doing from there. Good morning.
How can we help you?
So I was wondering, I guess with the lovely weather we're having, what hikes would you recommend for today, if any? Okay, man, they're so helpful and so knowledgeable in there, and man, this weather's gonna be bad for a while. So right now we are in the Tongariro Visitor Center right here. Based on what this super helpful person in the eyesight said, we were gonna head all the way down south to Ohakune and then try to drive up that road to go and see Mangawera Falls, which I believe is the place where Gollum found the One Ring in the Lord of the Rings movie. Okay.
Where are we?
All right. We are at Gollum's Pool.
Mangofero.
Mangafero Falls. Yes, thank you.
This looks like the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? It was never sunny in that movie.
That's true.
Some of us got really, really into it.
Precious. Very precious.
Even with the wind and the rain, Tongariro wowed us.
place.
A little muddy.
On the way back to our campsite, we passed by this giant orange carrot.
Yeah, that's one big carrot. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Lonely Planet said this was New Zealand's biggest huggable thing. What? We have been sustaining on a lot of carrots on this trip. I'm really appreciative.
I just, you know.
Go! Whoa!
So much confidence now. Oh, it's so gross. It's so muddy. But I'm getting confidence.
Okay, back to our little campsite in the woods.
What are we having for dinner?
Mashed potatoes and steak, I think.
Ooh, it's been a while since we've had some steak.
What are we choosing to?
Cheers to the awesome people at the visitor center, because without them, we wouldn't have known where to go.
Yeah, we would have just done nothing today.
Yeah, so cheers to them.
Now, diving deep into a cave system to see some worms might not be your idea of a fun afternoon, but we are beyond excited for this. These are no ordinary worms. These are bioluminescent insects called properly Arachnocampa luminosa. They generate light to attract their prey, and the resulting light show in the caves makes you feel like you're just transported to outer space and looking at thousands of multicolored stars. These are all over New Zealand, but the ones we're about to see are part of a massive underground cave system that can be accessed in a few different levels of adventure-ness. The experience started off in a very mysterious fashion and only got weirder and more beautiful as it went on.
Then, finally,
We're about to go see some glowworms. We have to keep our distance and not breathe on
them. After emerging from the caves and waiting 10 minutes for our eyes to readjust to the sun, we had a very large decision to make about a very small place. But first, big ass ice cream.
What'd you get?
Hokey pokey on top and cookies and cream. Oh man. One, their marketing is so good. Caught our attention immediately. And this is so good. We just finished with the glowworm caves, which was excellent. And I'm kind of riding the high of all the really fun, I know they're touristy, but touristy, as we know, is not a bad thing. We're gonna go to Hobbiton.
Yes! Yes! This is the best day. The blessing of Gandalf is upon us.
I had always come up with excuses to not come here. It was always just too expensive and just too far away to go to. Not this time.
Just the details are incredible. The thoughtfulness and the attention to details everywhere.
The sun's shining and we're going to the Green Dragon. We get a free drink on the house. And they're playing the special music.
This moment right here sipping a delicious beer at the Green Dragon next to a roaring fireplace after getting a chance to see Hobbiton, the place where so many of my favorite scenes in all of cinema were filmed, while listening to the soundtrack straight from the movies. This, right here, is the happiest and most content I've felt on this entire trip. After what felt like 5 minutes but was actually an hour, the tour of my dreams came to an end. We made our way to another great free campsite for the night. It was time to leave the fantasy world to make our way back to the real one.
We've only got 3 nights left on this trip, which is crazy to think about. What a journey it's been so far. Yesterday we drove from down here at Tongariro National Park. We're all the way out here, kind of in the middle of nowhere, to Waitomo Glowworm Caves.
Yep. Did the tour there.
Did the tour there, and then made our way all the way back up here to Hobbiton. And then after that, we drove just like a little bit back down the road to this little campsite where we are right now. We're gonna head all the way over to Rotorua, hopefully do a luge there. And then probably tomorrow start working our way back up to Auckland where we got to drop off Sassy. I know. It'll be a sad day.
And find a new home for Sunny, who's barely hanging on. I'm sorry, but the sun's gonna come soon.
Rotorua.
This famously hot and kind of smelly city sits on top of some of the most active geothermal hot springs anywhere on Earth.
There's that sulfur smell. Must be in Rotorua.
Most of the city smells like sulfur, and there's water just boiling up out of the earth everywhere you look here. It's also the North Island's hub for big adventure sports and other wonderfully touristy things. This was a side of New Zealand that we just hadn't experienced yet. Also, Rotorua happened to be where we found a much-needed laundromat and a hot shower at an aquatic center.
I didn't know how badly I needed that. I feel like a whole new person after that shower. Okay, did I get it all?
Yeah, I think so. Just go off a run.
Laundry done.
Off we went to go see the bubbling pools right in the center of town at Kuiro Park.
Yep, that's bubbling.
I think it's pretty cool that just in the heart, like we're in the city of Rotorua, and there's this gigantic park that they've turned into a walking area where you can just walk around and see all the pools.
Hot river, bum bum bum. Don't go too far. It's the hot river. Bum 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 bum. Look how hot it is. It's the hot river. Right there, it's so hot, 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 hot.
Don't judge me. I think it smells kind of good.
Rotorua happens to also be the home of one of the largest redwood forests in New Zealand.
I know that like showing a big forest isn't necessarily like the most visually exciting thing to do in Rotorua, especially when there's like skydiving and the secret hot tub things and like luging, which we're gonna do in a little bit, and all that other stuff, but I think this is my favorite thing to do here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right, this twisted going. The tiki tour going all the way around. This is gonna be awesome.
Have fun.
This is gonna be awesome. I'll let you know how it goes.
See you later.
Lisa was much less interested in hurtling herself down a hill on a tiny little piece of plastic, but
Okay, while the luge does look incredible and looks really fun, I kind of want to take this opportunity to just go off and go to the spa.
Okay, so this gondola now is taking me up to the top of this mountain, which then they have 5 different luge courses that I can take. And this gondola ride by itself, I think, was like $40. And then on top of that, with the 5 luge rides going back up and down, that was 74, I think, in total, maybe 84. So really, I think a pretty good deal. This one seems lucky.
Okay, wow, that was incredible.
haven't felt this clean in a really, really long time. I've been back now here at the car park for about half an hour. I thought 2 hours would be enough. I don't know if I should be worried or just really excited for him that he's just having the best time of his life. It's kind of late.
Oh God!
The car park is slowly emptying.
Unfortunately, time to head back down. All out of rides.
Whoa! Was it cold?
It was freezing.
Oh, I was very
It
warm.
was absolutely freezing. Okay, let's go off to our campsite. 15
Okay.
minutes north. Hopefully there's a spot, because we are late. Sass is not happy tonight.
She was like,
Come on, Sass!
"You got this,
Don't
girl."
explode!
With my adrenaline still pumping, I drove us through the night northbound to a free campsite we found using the always reliable Rankers app. Once again, it delivered, but we didn't know exactly how much until the sun came up.
Okay, quick dinner, and then we're gonna set up bed mode and go to bed. See you in the morning.
Good morning. This campsite is beautiful. And for free, this is... wow. What should we do today?
You just got tomato on me.
You're welcome.
Table mode time. All set up.
We used the tripod. I'm so impressed.
But the thing most heavy on our minds as we enjoyed breakfast was that we only had 2 days left. Somehow 19 days of adventure, driving, and living out of Sassy had flown by. We were going to miss all of it, even those not so glamorous parts.
Okay, friends. So, we are currently north of Rotorua in this amazing, beautiful campsite. We're getting closer to Auckland and we have only a couple more nights with Sassy before we have to drop her off. I was reading about this incredible town. It's like this beachy town called Mount Maunganui, which is along the Bay of Plenty, which is supposed to be an incredibly beautiful beachy area. So I think we're gonna head more north towards Auckland, making our way through that town. Let's get going. Of course it looks like it's gonna rain.
Sassy's right there.
And even though it's overcast, I mean, especially because it's overcast, it is so pretty. You can see, and here, the Bay of Plenty, the water is so blue, the islands you can see from miles and miles away. I'm so glad we came. It's incredibly beautiful up here. We do have to get going though because our car park is only for 90 minutes and it took like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes to get up here. All right.
We didn't have much time to enjoy it because we knew that the ride out of town would take equally as long, and we had a ways to go to get closer to Auckland.
Oh no, bud.
Stay with us.
Stay with us, Sonny.
This is such a beautiful, beautiful place, and I wish we had longer here. Saw Tauranga, actually sat in traffic in Tauranga, but we got one last beautiful glimpse of New Zealand and the Bay of Plenty before we make it to the big city.
So off we went in desperate search of a campsite as we crossed the central north of New Zealand. With so few choices for us, we were getting a bit stressed that we wouldn't be able to find a place to stay for the night at all.
What's our last couple of nights with Sassy if we didn't have an adventure? So we Our first campsite that we had chosen, the exit was just straight up closed.
Yeah, just that one exit.
The closer you get to Auckland, it feels like it's harder to come by some campsites. You gotta go far, so Sassy's working overtime, but we're almost there.
Eventually, luckily, we found a place 30 minutes to the west of the main highway and drove into this rugby stadium in this tiny town.
Right. Cool.
Okay, so we made it to a freedom camping spot in Onafero. It's an empty, grassy area by an old rugby field, I think. It's pretty quiet and kind of creepy, but I'm sure it's lovely. See you in the morning. Good night.
After a restless and cold night, the sun finally came up and it turned out that this place was pretty nice.
You know, last night, anytime you get to a place and it's dark, pitch black even, it feels a little bit creepy. But now that the sun is shining, the grass is super green here, this place is less creepy than I felt last night. So today's game plan is basically clean the entirety of the van out, repack our bags, eat all our food, clean all the dishes. Tonight is our very last night with Sassy. It's so weird to say all of that. It feels so final, but it's time. We're in the home stretch. I can't believe it's been 3 weeks in this wonderfully sassy van. Let's get going.
Ready?
Oh boy.
Peanut butter jelly coming in.
Oh! It fell on some paper, don't worry.
Everybody's fine.
Oh my
Everybody's
gosh.
fine.
Oh my gosh.
Sassy deserves better than that. It was time to get her looking nice.
Load her up, I'll start packing. Many cables.
Ah, that's much better.
Feels super weird to say, but this is our last time opening up this map. Where did we leave off? And then we drove from Tauranga all the way up to this tiny little campsite. All the way up here after we missed our first one, unfortunately. All we gotta do is just drive the rest of the way into Auckland.
It's raining. I'm sad too that we're leaving.
One last long drive. Let's go to Auckland.
Man, 20 days. It's gone by so fast. It's gone by so fast. But all that I can think about as we're driving up to Auckland on our last leg here is that this is our last night with Sassy. You know? This reliable, wonderful, lovable, extremely complaining camper van that has taken us all over this country. I mean, this van has brought us to the foothill of mountains, to glaciers, to streams, up and over mountains, and then back down to campsites that were out in the middle of nowhere, to other beautiful campsites that were really easy to get at, to just like weird parking lots that we ended up sleeping in. And the whole time, Sassy was there, keeping us warm, keeping us safe, keeping us comfortable. This is our third time trying to do this camper van thing, and every other time the van is just giving out on us. You know, but my favorite thing now about Sassy was the thing that I was most worried about the second that we got her, which is that sound that she makes when you're going up the hills. This huge complaining sound that she makes as she's trying to struggle up the hill. And at first I thought that was a sound of Sassy just like giving up on us, you know, that she didn't want to do it. And after her never giving up one time, bringing us all the way here, all the way from the east side of the South Island to the bottom, all the way up the west coast, all the way across the ferry to here, all the way to Auckland, to our final destination to Auckland, that entire time, learn that that sound is not her giving up, that sound is her trying her darndest to get us to where we need to go. And I know all this stuff sounds cheesy, I mean, we're talking about a car, but I think Sassy's become a lot more than just a car or a van for us. I mean, I think I've gotten a little attached.
We checked out the Rankers app to try and find a campsite in Auckland proper, and there was one clear and obvious choice.
Okay, so we just checked into this camper spot, and it's literally, we parked in front of a lovely couple's home. I know we talked and raved about how awesome all the campsites were in New Zealand, but this is just the most lovely. How was your shower?
This place is awesome.
This is a great way to end our trip with Sassy.
Okay, so it's 8 a.m. here at the Kingslander pub right outside of Eden Park, and today the New Zealand All Blacks are playing Italy. This is a big game in the Rugby World Cup today. If the New Zealand team doesn't win, they don't move on for the first time ever. They've never not made it past the group stage.
Okay, so now we just got a couple of things to do, some friends to see, and then unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye to Sassy.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Oh wait, but there's the most important thing actually.
This is Sunny.
Did you guys get a potted
He's in your hands now.
Oh.
If you don't mind taking care of him.
I'm gonna send you guys so many pictures.
Sunny travels. Yay! Our stuff is going to our friends. That makes me so happy. No waste. And Sunny's in good hands. I'm sad. We gotta go though.
Okay, one last ride, Sassy. One last ride.
One last little rain shower to see us off. Okay, a little more than a little rain. A lot of rain.
And, as has become tradition around here,
One last fill up. I think I'm gonna miss those little everyday traditions like that. For as weird as that sounds, emptying it just, I don't know. It's part of like the beautiful simplicity of doing the van life thing. It's just part of this whole experience. It means it's unfortunately coming to an end.
I think we're at the finish line. We're about to drop Sassy off, and I'm sad.
Yeah, me too, me too. Here's all your friends.
I'm so sad.
as we sadly said goodbye to Sassy, all that we could think about was just how quickly these past 3 weeks had gone by and how much New Zealand had given us along the way. Glaciers, valleys, and lakes, and even a totally real kiwi.
I've always wanted to see a real kiwi.
All the fish and chips, the magic of affordable steaks, and just about every possible weather condition known to man. Salmon in front of a glacial lake, peaks at aging glaciers, luging down mountains, weird carrot-themed parks, and all while eating delicious, countless Pix peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We even got to pretend to be hobbits for a few hours and hiked Abel Tasman and so much more. All while being lucky enough to have seen some of the most beautiful scenery anywhere on planet Earth. And after this epic 3-week trip spanning 3,000 kilometers and 300,000 orange cones, and having the privilege to see every corner of New Zealand all the way from the south to the north of this breathtaking, welcoming, and just downright beautiful country on the road trip of a lifetime, we could only wonder, how soon can we come back and do it all over again?
Bye, Sassy. Have fun on your next adventure.